You know, I've watched you. Sometimes our people disagree with you, but I mean, I understand some of your approach. I mean, sometimes we take a hard bite. It helps us as politicians.
Nowadays, when I listen to you, I even panic.
Why?
Maybe, hey,
Why do you panic?
the way you, Papa, you know Papa.
Figuratively, he bites as hard as he can.
Okay.
And of course, when he puts his fangs into you, you certainly feel it. I think it prickles.
Watch Johnny's bite.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? And yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup runneth over, and surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever and ever. Amen. Assalamu alaikum. It's Wednesday. Welcome to Johnny's Bite, and thank you to all who spend time to pray for us Wednesday bonds, particularly for me and my family on such days. Dr. Thomas Okwabi, thank you very much. Mommy, thank you. And all the pastors and prophets who want to remain anonymous, the bishops watching us across the world, Bishop Aluti and the rest, thank you very much indeed. We appreciate all of you. We also want to say thank you to all our affiliates across the country. Lolonyo is in the Volta region blasting it out, and whoever is blasting it out, to let's know so we can properly acknowledge you. And for those who spend time to watch it, there's somebody who called me from the UK to say that, look, I don't, when I close my shift, I don't hit the sack immediately. I wait to watch and to share and to like and to comment before I hit the sack. Now, there's somebody in the cold out there in the diaspora. You live here with us, and you know the issues that we raise every day at Genmain. And yesterday we showed you the scorecard from Korle Bu Teaching Hospital, the oxygen plant. Now, speaking of the oxygen plant that is up and running, there's been some expansion, and that's our scorecard. And we encourage all of you who may take contracts to come and attack us. Ask the people who are sending you what their scorecard is. I'm learning with some bit of sadness that at Korle Bu, as we speak, there are those who, even though the oxygen plant is running, there are those who say it is not my job to go and roll the bottles or the cylinders to go and bring the oxygen to the what do you call it, to the wards. And people continue to suffer the unfortunate situation where there's no oxygen. There are those who also follow the nurses, while the nurses are the ones pulling and pushing this. It's bad. You are paid to go and work. And if there is oxygen available where the oxygen is being processed, and because of your negligence, you leave it for somebody on a sick bed to die because you say it is not your job. We have come into Korle Bu. We have sent people to Korle Bu, and we are secretly recording and taking note. I will expose you on this platform, and I will insist that you are sacked. So all those people in the wards, some gynae, some emergency, some, and it's quite unthinkable that we will come here and advocate for the plants to start working. You will come and complain that the plants are not working. And then when the plant starts working, you come and start saying that it is not your job to go and be rolling cylinders. So whose job is it? So the patients who have come to your facility, should they die? And in fact, people actually die. Where is the fellow feeling? Where is the professionalism? And it cuts across because you find nurses who are not committed to the work. And recently, people have been sharing their dastard experiences about nurses and midwives who are not committed to the work, doctors who are not committed to the work, teachers who are not committed to the work. You find all those things going around you. And you ask yourself, what's going on? You are a nurse, but the bedpan, you don't want to touch it because it is not your job. And at that particular time, it needs to be checked. You are at the place where the oxygen is prepared. You have made a call to people to come and pick the stuff. And sometimes it's unthinkable. Why do we do that? Why are we so unkind to ourselves? Why are we so unkind to ourselves? You go to Kolebu, you go to other facilities, and you see family members who do not have the requisite training, the necessary training. They are the ones transporting their patients from one point to the other. So it is not the illness that would end up killing the people. It is actually the bad attitude of professionals who should know better, who will be the first to go on strike, who will be the first to ask for a salary raise, who will be the first to demand for accountability, but fail to be accountable to the system. Change your life. Because I'm coming for you. Change your life. Today is International Mother Language Day. It is celebrated all around the world, something that is supposed to encourage multilingualism and to ensure that no language is lost. Today I'll be a bit biased towards my language. And I will tell you why. I'll make a fine case for it. Today is World Mother Language Day. It is supposed to encourage multilingualism and to ensure that no language is ever lost. Today. Now, let's start with Honorable Sam Jatta George. Is the MP for Ningo Prampram. He made some statements last week or the week before. It was a re-echoing of something I had said on Johnny's Bite sometime in 2021. You remember when the Achimota saga came? The land saga, which our chiefs and my own king said they are still investigating. They have not brought us the report. And people still have lands in forest reserves forever. I spoke about this matter. And in that particular matter, I raised questions. I was hoping that 4 years down the line or 3 years down the line, something tangible would have been done. But no, the issues remain. Here is Honorable Sam Jatta George.
Today, with the advent of technology and the Judeo-Christian religions, many of the things that we refer to as our culture have been termed demonic practices. And so we're actually walking away from our culture. And Mr. Speaker, as a Dangme boy from the Gandangme ethnic group, I am very, very, very worried. Because, Mr. Speaker, in 2017, when I became Member of Parliament for Ningo Prampram, in the Ningo Prampram district, there were 37 Akan language teachers, but there were only 2 Dangme teachers. In a Dangme community like Ningo or district like Ningo and Prampram. And so there was a shortage of teachers. Mr. Speaker, I made a conscious effort within the first 4 years in office to work with the University of Education, Winneba, which had a bachelor's degree in Dangme. And we sponsored children to go and study and get the degree. But Mr. Speaker, that did not solve the problem. You then have the Ghana Education Service post these Dangme teachers to the north, or post them to the Ashanti region to go and teach social studies and Bible knowledge when they studied Dangme. So why are you posting them away? And so recently, the Gandangme Tahuloyakwe took a stance and said they thought that the Ghana Education Service was intentionally working to kill some languages. Because, Mr. Speaker, if we have trained teachers in our local languages, and there is a shortage of teachers in the region, why post them away to go and teach a different language?
That's the Honorable Sam Jatta George. He's MP for Ningo Prampram constituency in the Greater Accra region. Now, he raises this concern, and it's a key concern, because today we are celebrating multilingualism. And the idea is that no language will be lost. And I asked the question the other time in Ghana, that negbe mano obaya, Ashanti manjo, Fante manjo, Aigbe manjo, Grushi manjo, ni a chonga again. I asked that question. Apart from the Greater Accra region, where else in this country would you go to find Ghana teachers teaching Ghana? You won't find it anywhere. And when you make the argument and you ask the question why Ghana is not taught in certain public schools, but they are being taught either Ekwapim Twi or Asante Twi or Fanti They tell you that, oh, Accra has become cosmopolitan. Is Ho not cosmopolitan? Is Kumasi not cosmopolitan? Is Takrady not cosmopolitan? Is Tamale not cosmopolitan? Is Sunyani not cosmopolitan? You ask the question. And it is supposed to be the policy of the Ghana Education Service and the Ministry of Education to at least have instruction given to children for the first 3 years of their lives in their mother tongue. But then, sadly, some time ago, we had the whole Valley View School tell us, for example, that they were scrapping the first 3 years because they couldn't find Ghana teachers. Well, later, subsequently, with some intervention from the Gamancha Palace, they had to rescind that decision. But it is happening today. Children are being taught key in Accra. I'm not saying they should not be taught, but the first opportunity that should be given to them should be their mother tongue. Why are they being deprived of that? And I'm sure somebody will ask, listen to the former Chief Justice of the Republic, Justice Sophia Kufu. She sat with Bolare on Star Chat. Listen.
She called another teacher who could speak Twi better. And she said, the teacher said, I should keep bringing my Twi reading book. And I should be reading it as they are reading the Ghana one. I have the Ghana one also open. And so you're reading the same story, you know, so then you learn abofra I remember that was the first day.
But that helped you a lot.
Absolutely. By the second week, third week, I was going along with the flow. I was...
You're a brilliant lady. You picked up so fast.
No, it was because of methodology, of good teaching.
Attention, yes.
Yes, of good teaching. Teachers who...
How many were you in the class, if I may ask? Now...
So, this is Bolare, former Chief Justice of the Republic, and she is not of Ghana ancestry. Maybe she has some Ghana ancestry, but at the time, the understanding I got was that they had moved from the Eastern region and then they had come to Accra. And even then, there was enough wisdom to suggest that they should be taught Ghana. Today, the former Chief Justice is able to speak fluent and lucid Ghana, but she's not Ghana. And you saw the methodology. She spoke about methodology, she spoke about good teaching, and she spoke about teachers who have time. Even then, there was no deliberate attempt, as many are suggesting now, to annihilate the Ghana people, the Gadangbe people. You heard Sam George. When he took over, there were only 2 Dangbe teachers in a Dangbe community. And it is once you take the people's language away from them, you, for example, take away their culture and take away their tradition and take away their confidence. There is some subtle attempt to Africanize everything. We don't have a current national language. We don't. So then the question you ask yourself is that, what did our members of parliament consider? Did nobody raise a question when we started having Asempa budget, Ejuma budget, Impunto budget, Inkabomu budget, Inkoswa budget, Ajinkwa budget, and the last one, the recent one is what? They are all Africanized names. Now these budgets are supposed to bring all of us together. And the only nomenclature that we found for them is Africanization. I'll tell you another example. So for example, lands, prime lands of the Ga people, they are taken away by the state for specific purposes. The rule and the law is that if after some time the state doesn't use the land or those lands for the specific reason that the state acquired them, it should be given back to the original owners, which will be the Ga people, the Dangbe people. Today, those lands do not return to the original owners. They will say they have gone into some public-private partnership with some private developers. And if you find the origin of those private developers, they are not Ga people. And I thought that anywhere, the land of the people belongs to the people. So why don't you, for example, make a suggestion to the Ghana people to say, okay, one man cannot be the investor, so form a consortium so that they can own it. Check the prime areas, the DVLA lands, the Flagstaff House lands, all those lands around you, the big ones that I've been talking about. Those are prime areas in Ghana areas. Check those who are behind them as private contractors and check their origin and ask if the Ghana people themselves cannot put themselves up together to go and also be given the opportunity to handle some of these things. It is unthinkable. It is so unthinkable. And it is a question that must engage NIGA. It's a serious matter. It is a serious matter. Now the people are being pushed into the sea out of their own space. The people are being pushed into the sea out of their own space. I'll leave it here. Let's talk about NAPCO. They are not happy with, They are not happy with Dr. Bawumia and the team of MPP picking Dr. Ibrahim Anyas. They have a statement. Listen to the statement. Please put the statement up for me. And it's dated this 21st of February 2024. And it says, your deputy presidential campaign manager, Dr. Ibrahim Anyas, is not credible. NAPCO trainees to Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia. The coalition of NAPCO trainees is utterly amazed at the courage of the vice president to appoint the incompetent Dr. Ibrahim Anyas, the NAPCO CEO, as his deputy presidential campaign manager. The appointment of Dr. Ibrahim Anyas, the NAPCO CEO, as deputy presidential campaign manager for the New Patriotic Party is a clear indication that the vice president does not have the vulnerable youth, particularly disappointed NAPCO trainees, at heart on the factual grounds that 1. Dr. Ibrahim Anyas has failed woefully to respond to our official petition submitted to his outfit for the payment of 9 months NAPCO arrears after the expiration of the contractual agreement in September 2022. 2, that notwithstanding, the same Dr. Ibrahim Anyas has failed to honor the invitations of the media to explain publicly what has necessitated the delays of NAPCO arrears and the development of the implementation of career pathway transition process, which was eagerly lauded to usher NAPCO trainees into the permanent mainstream jobs after the 1-year additional contract period expired. 3, the insensitive posture of Dr. Ibrahim Anyas has subjected vulnerable NAPCO trainees who into extreme anger, hunger, and deprivation. We have been copied and we have been crippled and left penniless and highly indebted. Our dignity has been trampled upon and our honor fed to dogs. We all attest to the current galloping inflation, incessant price increment of goods and services under the tenure of President Akufo-Addo and Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Do we query ourselves how NAPCO trainees are surviving in their unemployed state when Dr. Ibrahim Anyas refused to add his influential voice for government to release funds to pay NAPCO arrears? Interestingly, these days, the government does not tout NAPCO as an achievement due to the embarrassing fact of unpaid 9 months arrears. We want to caution His Excellency Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia to immediately withdraw Dr. Ibrahim Anyas from his team if his appointment as deputy presidential campaign manager is meant to capitalize on the flip-flopped NAPCO scheme to further deceive and hoodwink unemployed youth to vote for him. Again, the coalition is going to intercept any partisan utterances, signages that will leverage on the failed NAPCO scheme in an attempt to win votes in the 2020 general elections. The silence of NAPCO trainees is a huge threat to our national security. We shall soon rise to defend our right if conditions remain the same. Frank Evans Kwanzaa is the national secretary of these people. Now, there are some NAPCO pictures. There's one last Dr. Bawumia video on this NAPCO employment. I'll play for you. But show me some of the NAPCO pictures. Remember me. You remember that? One of the gentlemen who came here, we had a conversation with, I think his name is Nicholas. He said he was paid 300 Ghana cedis for that Remember Me thing. And so far, he has become a target, and people think that he's the cause of their problem. There's a lady and a gentleman. It says, remember me, my livelihood depends on you. Please show that. Please show that quickly. Remember me, my livelihood depends on you. This is what was told to the NAPCO people. Today, Ekomu Diomorof. Today, Ekomu Diomorof. There's big regret because one, they were promised permanency. The president in August 2021, somewhere in the Sunyani place, a radio station said that they were going to be transitioned onto some more permanency. Did I tell you about 2-3 weeks ago that GRA was training people at GIMPA and to give them permanency, while those who had done NAPCO were still there and they were not even included in that permanent arrangement? GRA, GIMPA. We have our people among you, so they are the same people who come and show us the letters. They are the same people who come and tell us what's going on. I mean, how do you deceive a whole block of young people? How do you do that? Listen to Dr. Bawumia at the 1-year anniversary of NAPCO. Then we'll wrap up. Listen to him. Dr. Bawumia, listen to him.
When it comes to GDP growth, we have performed better. Agricultural growth, we have performed better. Industry growth, we have performed better. Inflation, we have performed better. Interest rates, we have performed. Exchange rate depreciation, we have performed better. The fiscal deficit, we have performed better. Balance of trade, we have performed better. Current account balance, we have performed better. Gross international reserves, jobs, we have performed better.
So if we have performed better in all these spaces, where are the jobs, the permanent jobs for the NAPCO beneficiaries? That's the question they're asking. And they're asking Dr. Anyas's inclusion is literally an insult to them. Where has he been all this while? Why is nobody talking about the arrears? And suddenly they are being pushed and showed a campaign team that involves the man who is supposed to be advocating for them to be paid. There is a problem. And they say it's a national security threat. Good morning. Please call me 055-924-2717, 055-924-2717.